So, Mr. President, over the course of the evening, I may look for an opportunity to speak again. But I'm telling the president, people who are eligible and qualified for Medicaid, I love the work requirement
of borrowing $3.5 trillion on the nation's credit card in order.
The promise of Donald J. Trump that he's made to the people who are on Medicaid today, Mr. President. I love the other reforms in this bill. They are necessary, and I appreciate the leadership of the House.
What happens when a billionaire calls out Trump on his biggest gift to the rich? Spoiler, it's not subtle. The feud between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they're throwing billion-dollar shade over a disaster bill that you probably didn't even know was passed at 2 a.m. So, why is Trump threatening to punish Musk? And how does this mess hit your wallet? Let's break it all down. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. What's more terrifying than a budget bill sneaking through Congress in the middle of the night? One that basically gift wraps billions for the wealthiest Americans while yanking healthcare away from millions of others. Trump's new disaster bill manages to do both, because, of course, it does. This monster of a bill adds $3.3 trillion to the national debt. But the real kicker? It's like a love letter to billionaires and corporations, offering massive tax cuts at the expense of programs like Medicaid that people actually depend on to survive. Classic Trump move, pretend to be for regular folks while throwing the elites a non-stop party.
That you have been misinformed. You supporting the Senate mark will hurt.
I'm going to surround myself with only the best and most serious people.
Well, I did do that.
This
and we
time,
had tremendous, look, we had the best economy we've ever had.
Elon Musk is right about this. He's got it exactly right. The idea.
She's running against you. Your former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, said he's not supporting you. You mentioned National Security Advisor John Bolton. He's not supporting you either.
The world has ever seen.
Your Vice President, Mike Pence, is running against you.
Yeah.
Your Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley.
So, let's talk about those tax cuts. Somewhere around 60% of the benefits from this bill go straight to the top 20% of earners. Picture hedge fund managers sipping champagne on their private yachts, kind of rich. Meanwhile, everyday Americans get, you guessed it, squat. Thousands, if not millions, of ACA subsidies, basically toast. Medicaid funding, chopped like a bad mustache. The more you dig, the clearer it becomes. Low and middle-income Americans are footing the bill for this billionaire-friendly free-for-all. And here's a fun fact to spice it up. Independent analysts project that this bill could leave 4.2 million Americans without healthcare coverage. That's not just a theoretical number, that's real lives, real families being pushed out of medical care so Jeff Bezos can stack another golden yacht. Now here's where it gets fun. Enter Elon Musk, one of the top billionaires who should be raising a glass to this bill. Instead, he dragged it. Musk called it out of touch with reality and slammed its priorities for funneling cash to tax cuts while ignoring the need for wider healthcare access. This kind of criticism feels super weird coming from a guy who, invented a bulletproof car. But it's hard to argue with him here. His statement sent shockwaves because billionaires don't typically roast a billionaire-friendly policy, and Trump was not having it. Musk's dissent was like ringing a giant bell for Trump's petty instincts. And yes, the fallout is just as dramatic as you'd expect. When has Trump ever taken criticism calmly? Spoiler, never. So, when Elon Musk publicly called Trump's budget bill a disaster, the response was exactly as petty as you'd expect.
For putting it in there. In fact, I like the work of the House so much that I wouldn't be having to do this speech if we simply started with the House mark.
To be able to give tax breaks to the likes of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg.
You mentioned Attorney General Bill Barr says you shouldn't be president again, calls you the consummate narcissist and troubled man. You recently called and
I've talked with my colleagues in North Carolina. I know that we can do that, and I believe
Trump took to his favorite weapon, threats, and aimed them straight at Musk's financial lifeline, federal subsidies. Within days, Trump floated the idea of slashing subsidies for Tesla and SpaceX, two companies that have benefited heavily from government funding. It's like Trump saying, "Oh, you're against my billionaire-friendly bill? Well, let's see how you like running your billion-dollar companies without my help." Mature? Not even close. But here's where it gets ridiculous. The very subsidies Trump now wants to torch are the same ones that have helped turn Musk's companies into global powerhouses. Tesla thrived because federal incentives made electric cars more affordable, a good thing for consumers and the planet. SpaceX, meanwhile, has been a key partner in NASA's missions, helping to cut costs and revolutionize space travel. Yanking these subsidies isn't just bad for Musk, it's bad for innovation and the broader economy. So, in defending a bill that already showers benefits on the wealthiest, Trump is ironically targeting one of his supposed allies in the elite club of billionaires. And then, of course, it spilled onto social media because why wouldn't it? Trump threw his usual insults, calling Musk's comments dumb and claiming Tesla wouldn't exist without federal support. Musk, not one to back down, clapped back with a pointed reminder that Tesla repaid its government loans early, something certain casinos owned by a certain former president can't exactly brag about. In classic internet drama fashion, the feud escalated into a billionaire version of airing dirty laundry, complete with veiled threats and a lot of ego flexing. But here's the twist. Musk's criticism of the bill remains the real shocker. This is a billionaire who would benefit from the bill's tax cuts, yet he's speaking out anyway. It makes Trump's reaction seem even more absurd, like picking a fight that didn't need to happen. Still, the fallout isn't just about these two powerful men. It's about the millions of Americans who stand to lose health care while this war of egos plays out. While Trump and Musk trade punches over the disaster bill, the real fallout isn't about bruised egos. It's about the 4.2 million Americans who could lose health insurance. Imagine families skipping doctor visits or seniors cutting pills in half to make them last. That's the reality behind this shiny package of tax cuts for billionaires. But here's the thing. If even Musk, who would profit, calls this bill out of touch with reality, what does that tell us? Maybe it's time to stop focusing on Trump's antics and start asking whose side this bill is really on. Because it's not yours.